Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a hearty Monday morning to you all. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show. As I am joined by Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. As we do this each and every Monday, we have so much to break down. Football season hasn't even started, my friend, but it starts on Saturday. Real football on Saturday in Dublin. I can't believe as I sit here that my ass is going to be across the pond on leaving late Tuesday, 8 o'clock on Tuesday night for the red eye, get into London on Wednesday, spend a day in London, hopefully avoid the riots. Our hotel's right across from Hyde Park. That'll be cool. And then Thursday, we fly over from London to Dublin, which is like an hour flight, like flying to Miami. And then Thursday, we're there Thursday. We'll do part of the show Thursday from there. Friday, we'll do some of the show from there. All kinds of FSU stuff going down. And then Saturday is the ball game. Like 5 days away from like real college football. And a big game for FSU. I mean, it's not like some cupcake. Georgia Tech can play. So good morning to you. It's all there for you, partner. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great weekend for the Rays, by the way. Bucks preseason. A little bit of a Bucks preseason. This felt like an actual preseason game. Week 1 had some moments where I was like, "Oh, this is fun." Week 2 was a little hard to get through. I'm not going to lie to you, but like you said, I'm so happy we have college football returning. Despite all the BS that goes on outside the playing field, this is set to be one of the most exciting college football seasons of all time, with the changes that have taken place and the big games. Like, I'm telling you, if you scheduled a fall wedding, 2 years ago for this fall in particular, you messed up.
Yeah,
you messed up. I'm not attending your wedding, and if I do, I'm going on my phone. And don't get mad at me. Don't do it. Like my Casey's a wedding planner, and I think it's perfect that she has no weddings in September or October and only one in November. That's how it should be right there.
Yes.
So well done. Well done.
I saw a Facebook post the other day, said it's early August, time to remind all the ladies, because they do all the party planning, let's just be honest, that if you schedule anything on Saturday or Sunday, we will not be there. Any gender reveal parties, engagement parties, showers, not coming. Just it's football season. You have what? Literally 8 months out of the year to schedule all that stuff. 8 months. You can't get it done in 8 months. I can't help you. I can't help you. It's not my fault. Don't come at me. It's not. Either do it on a Thursday or Friday night, then you got a shot. But
it's beautiful that we work in the sports industry, or the sports media side of it, is because we don't have to make those excuses. Sorry, no. I mean, I'm working. I'm working. Got to keep an eye on everything. When I mean everything, I mean everything.
No, sorry. Not my fault. Your fault. And to that end, our former intern Kayla did hers on a Friday night. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. Can make that. We can do that. It's a little dicey, but
we're okay. We're okay with that. Friday night. That's fine.
It's not a USF game. It'll be. They've got some Friday night games, but no. So we're all good. All right, and we got lots to get to today. We got Rays sweep over the weekend. Oh my God, there were some games, bro. There was finally some entertaining. Not just the T-Pain concert entertaining, but like finally some entertaining games. Runs were scored.
Yes.
And maybe more importantly, runs were not scored. What's that?
You can't hit home runs, by the way. You can do that.
Yes.
Allowed.
We found out that.
Loud. You said it.
Loud. Yes.
Loud.
So, yeah. I mean, finally some intriguing baseball to watch. Although, and we got to take the good with the bad, right? And this team still has no clue how to run the bases. I mean, they could have scored probably 10 more runs this weekend. How many guys got thrown out on the bases this weekend? A lot.
A lot.
A lot of guys. And I understand they got to push the envelope because they don't make many hits. I get that. But sometimes it's just dumb. It's just dumb. So anyway, let's begin. Should we begin with the Rays or the Bucks? Where do you think we should go there?
You know
I mean,
what? When the Rays officially threw the white towel in on the season, I think I personally
yes,
flipped over to football
I
season,
did too.
and the Rays lost the first. They officially moved to second on the list.
Right.
Is that fair? Even after a
Yes.
big weekend, like we'll get to them. I got lots to say about that, but I think football still we're in football mode right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in on this game against the Jaguars in the week that was against the Jaguars, and my take on it is much needed. Camp Kumbaya was just, it was fantastic. It is fantastic. No distractions, no major injuries. Looks like Merriweather avoided any major injury. So that's all been good. And it's all been good. You beat the Bengals. Everybody's feeling good, blah, 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 blah. Then you go play the Jaguars. Pretty good football team. Decent roster. Obviously kind of crapped the bed at the end of last year, but a pretty good football team. And you got embarrassed in practice at times, and you got I think you got embarrassed in the game as well. I think that was a piss poor performance. And I think it was exactly what this team needed to wake the F up because, winter is coming. Winter is coming, and that's called the regular season. By the way, have you looked at Jaden Daniels in this preseason? Brock can play. In case you didn't know, he's 12 of 15 for 125 yards and a touchdown, an easy running touchdown. The reports out of Washington are he's already a seasoned veteran, great leadership. None of this comes as a surprise to me. I've already made my bet that he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. And Caleb Williams, by the way, made a couple of great throws. If you watch the whole first half, he was dreadful in the first two series, but he made a couple of plays off script that were great. Is he going to be good? I think he's going to be good. Probably better than I thought he was going to be. But I would tap the brakes. You watched Jaden Daniels play the other night. Everything is from the pocket, on rhythm, on script, incredible ball placement, great velocity, great reads. To me, watching those two guys play, Jaden Daniels is ahead of him. Jaden Daniels is playing professional football. Caleb Williams is still kind of running around and missing open guys. So whatever. But Jaden Daniels is ready to play. Week 1. You better freaking be ready to play week 1 because Joe Burrow carved you up. And I know a lot of starters haven't been playing, but Joe Burrow carved you up. And so did Mac Jones. Mac Jones carved you up. Wide open guys, 2 wide open touchdowns. And I know it wasn't the starters, but the starters got cooked during the week. Okay. There were a lot of completions. There were drop balls by the receivers. It was a bad week in Jacksonville. They had some bright moments, and I wasn't there. I'm going on the eyes and ears of other people. So, but I think the unanimous consensus is it was uneven at best. And I think it's exactly what this team needed. It was a freaking wake-up call because, you start feeling really good about yourself, and you don't know because you're playing against yourself the whole time. You don't know how good you are. That's why these joint practices are so good. It gives you a little bit more litmus test. And as optimistic as I am about this season, and I am still very optimistic for all the reasons we've talked about, this team still has some question marks at corner. Number 1, Jamel Dean has been average at best in preseason, in training camp. I've been out there and I look up and he's getting beat by Mike Evans routinely and Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan. And so is, Zion McCollum. And they're making plays here and there. But, I want to see these guys play in week 3 of the preseason. I want to see them do something. Now, I saw Tua. I don't know if Tua is going to play in week 3. I don't know if the Dolphins are planning on playing their guys because Tua played a little in this last game, and he looked sharp. He looked really, really sharp. And they're going to do a joint practice this week as well. And the Bucs better come to play with their starters. They better come to play with their starters in the joint practices. And this saving everybody. It's time. It's time to go play. It's time to go play, and it's time to get ready for week 1. I want to see the starters go out there and kick some ass. And I want to see them to play for at least a quarter. They need to have some success. Look, this team won a playoff game last year against a Philadelphia team. Look, we saw, okay? They were in disarray. I'm not taking anything away from the Bucs. They went out and kicked their ass. And then they went up to Detroit and were even going into the fourth quarter. So, look, it was a great season last year, and you hope to build on that. And you did in the offseason. You answered every question that you needed. You had a subpar center. You went out and got the best one in the draft. You needed a few more weapons on offense. You went out and got Jalen McMillan, and Bucky Irving showed again the other night. He is a player. He's a player. And there's no question in my mind this one game is going to be better, immeasurably better, because of the interior offensive line, which we'll get to in a second with this clip from Baldy. So, yes, I think they're better. Defensively, I know everybody's going crazy about Jose Ramirez has 3 sacks. Well, one was a gift. Okay, one, Mac Jones fell down. The other was a coverage sack, and then there was one good sack. But he had 3 or 4 good rushes last week where he got held. Should have had more sacks. The guy can play. But is he going to be a 17-sack guy? No. And again, not going against starters for the most part. So let's not go crazy about Jose Ramirez, all right? Let's not go it's the headline. It's the headline. I get it, but, let's not go crazy. Can he add something? Yes. Yaya Diaby's got to be the guy that steps up, and he's not healthy yet. Let's just have a dose of reality here, if we may. Okay? Yaya Diaby's not healthy. We don't really have another guy that's a bona fide coming off the edge guy. Chris Braswell did not impress the other night.
No.
Is Jose Ramirez going to be starting? I don't think so because he's not great at the other stuff. He's pretty much a one-trick pony. He can rush the passer. He's working on everything else. Okay, so where's the pass rush going to come from? That remains to be seen. Do I think that Todd Bowles can dial it up? Absolutely. He's got a lot of good stuff. He's got Cansey, who, by the way, needs to get healthy. He's got Vita Vea. He's got some fast linebackers. He can always dial up pressure. But we need Yaya Diaby to be healthy. And this secondary, as much as we like Zion and Jamel Dean, they gotta pick passes off. Bryce Hall got one in the game the other night. He was called back for holding, but I like the way he plays. I like the way Bryce Hall plays, and he may have to play. So there are still some question marks on this team. Let's not, go ahead and anoint them as the NFC South champions. And the Falcons went out and made some moves last week. Do I wish the Bucs had gotten Matthew Judon? Yes, I do. And I don't think they're counting on Braswell. They're counting on Yaya. I get it. But do I wish they would have got Matthew? Yes, I do. So as much as it's been Camp Kumbaya and as optimistic as we are, I think, Todd Bowles needs to ramp it up this week. Challenge his team, make them go out and play in the third preseason game and get ready to play some freaking football. Camp Kumbaya has also been kind of camp soft in terms of these guys going out and playing hard and playing against another team. So maybe soft is a little overblown. That's overhyped. But they need to step up and play in games. I'm tired of playing around.
Well,
some starters in the games.
Well, let's be real. How many guys who played in that game on Saturday night are going to be playing week in and week out for you? Not
Very
many.
Few.
Very few.
Very few.
That being said, injuries and things like that, you're always going to have to use your full 53-man roster. And I think the secondary depth got exposed big time against Jacksonville. And the thing that really was upsetting was 9 for 17 on third down, Jacksonville was. And especially in that first quarter, I think they converted a 3rd and 9 and a 3rd and 15 on the same drive.
Yes.
And by the way, it was like almost a schematic thing almost. I didn't know what they were running. Like they were like just busted coverages on both of those long third downs. And the reason why I bring that up is because how many times did we see that last year?
A lot.
Saw that quite a bit.
A lot.
Those just busted coverages in the back end and allowing a lot of third and longs. So I didn't love that. I thought the linebacker play was generally like I loved the linebacker play in week 1. I thought it was generally atrocious in week 2. KJ Britt did not impress me in that role. JJ Russell was much more quieter. Deloach, who we've talked about all camp, has been a camp darling. He's been invisible the first 2 games, and
done nothing.
now I don't think he's going to stick on that 53 man. I think he's definitely probably going to be a practice squad guy, barring him having a breakout in that 3rd preseason game.
Agreed.
So defensively, I thought they just were a mess. The game in general, I thought was ugly. Like I said, opening up, it was like one of those preseason games where you're just struggling to get through. There was also, I think, Jacksonville's 2nd or 3rd drive. It started in the 1st quarter, blended in the 2nd quarter. It was a 17-play drive that went 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes. The Bucs just got bullied by Jacksonville for 10 minutes straight, and it ends up with a Parker Washington touchdown, which, by the way, busted coverage on that one. So, yeah, the defense just was overwhelmed, I think. The only player that you could say was a standout was Jose Ramirez. And, yes, I know the coverage sack, he had one of those. And the other one, Mac Jones tripped. But he had another one that was a legit sack. Yep. And I actually thought he had a few plays where he had some good rushes, and he got close to Mac, and he got rid of it. So, in general, I think Jose Ramirez, he's been one of my biggest standouts coming out of the Yaya Diaby injury, which I wish Yaya was out there, obviously, and not necessarily in these games at the moment, but just practicing and stuff, obviously. But it's opened up opportunities for guys like Jose Ramirez to show what he has, because I thought Jose was probably like we've talked about the depth at that position, and you had 6 guys, and we'll see if they keep all 6. Jose Ramirez was definitely like number 6 coming into camp, but I think he's jumped Marquise Watts for that in that role. And I think Marquise has dropped down to 6, and Jose Ramirez, I mean, could you make the argument? I know they love Anthony Nelson and the things that he provides, and I think surely he plays the run better than Jose Ramirez, but I think Jose Ramirez has got to stick on this roster at this point, because I thought he was the only defensive player that played with a pulse in that game. And obviously he was great in the first one against Cincinnati as well.
Yep. I would agree with all that. But again, Jose Ramirez is probably going to be a backup. If your headline is Jose Ramirez has 3 sacks.
Right. He's probably going to be a third down. He'd probably be a third down specialist guy at best for this team at the moment.
Couple other things. Bucky Irvin, as I mentioned, I thought showed, once again, great vision, and they're getting movement in the interior line. Let's go ahead and play that clip from Baldinger, who loves him some Elijah Klein, 6th-round pick. The interior of this offensive line is going to be massively improved. Check this out.
It's so important for young players. Elijah Klein at right guard, Graham Barton at center, Xavier Delgado at left guard. These are rookies, all freshmen. Look at this line of scrimmage right here by Tampa. No penetration. Now, Tucker cuts it back on his own because the line of scrimmage is clean, and he makes a great run. 21 yards. Now, let's watch him in protection here, okay? Because there's the one technique right there. Now watch Delgado. He's looking right at him. Once Barton knows that he's in good shape, now let's go help out my rookie right guard. All right? Now, Kyle Trask has time to make this throw. Now, it's good coverage. Throws it complete. Now, let's go down to the goal line. It's 3rd down and 6. Are you going to score, or are you going to kick a field goal right here? Let's watch the interior right here. Watch the interior. It's just going to be a beautiful picture. It's going to be just an interior, beautiful cradle of love right here. Like, Kyle Trask can step up. And when you watch this right here, look at that. Klein, Barton, Delgado. Nice. It's a beautiful photo. Take a screenshot of it, because now Trask has time to go find Cody Thompson for the touchdown. 3 rookies all inside working in unison, getting good time together. It's impressive.
And what you see when you go back and look at even the TV copy is there's movement up front. Whereas last year, Hainsey would be, snap of the ball, a count in, he's 2 yards deep in the offensive backfield, your center. And then linebackers are running into the hole. It's freaking chaos right off the top. So when you get movement of the other way, now, especially in the zone blocking scheme, now your running back has some room to look, and instead of having to dodge a guy 3 yards in the backfield as your first move, and then it's too late to then the whole play is beat. You don't get touched until you're 1.5 yards to the line of scrimmage, and now you can make a move, you can read some things, you can cut back, you can do a lot of different things, especially when you're Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving, these guys that are one-cut runners, and they get through the hole. So that I thought was a plus as well. I think Graham Barton pretty much cinched up that starting center job.
Oh, and yeah. J.C. Allen, by the way, reported it today that Graham Barton, according to his sources, has won that center job, which not surprising in the least.
No, not surprising. We knew that. We knew that was going to happen. And I think Kyle Trask solidified himself as the backup quarterback. I think there was a legitimate competition, but I think this week in Jacksonville and also in the game, even though, his first two passes were late and inaccurate. He missed an open guy on third down. He missed Jalen McMillan on the sideline. He was late to that when McMillan almost made a great catch, but then he settled down, had a really nice next drive where I think he was 5 for 5, got the touchdown, and never put the ball in danger. I don't remember, except maybe that pass that Baldy showed there in the back of the end zone.
I actually thought that was I thought he actually threw that ball generally well. It was just a tough 50-50 ball for the receiver. But if you watch it, he actually put it only to where his receiver could make a play on it.
Yeah, and that's as close as he came to putting the ball in danger. And that one really wasn't that bad. So, and that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him, do what a backup quarterback should do. Take the profits, the check downs, be able to throw it downfield when you need to, which he can. He's got a big arm. But I think he solidified the fact that, okay, I can go out there and not put the ball in danger for 3, 4, 5 series, which was good. So I think he solidified that. Other than that, it was a whole lot of nothing. Trey Palmer had a nice, I love that play where they kind of fake the jet sweep. They look the other way and then they come back to him in the flat with his speed. That's a great play. And I think, that's just a sliver. Everything has been super vanilla from on the offensive and defensive side, which is, what you expect in preseason. But I think that was just a little teaser of what you're going to see from the Liam Cohen offense, getting these guys at speed, catching the ball in stride, moving down the field.
Yeah, I was going to say about Trask and Wolford. It was unfortunate Wolford, got injured and they had to put Trask back in that game. But I think in general, I think you're going to see a brand new backup next year for the Bucs. I don't – Kyle Trask to me, just still I watch him and I don't go, I just don't think there's enough there. I really don't. I mean, preseason football is what it is.
Same thing as I was watching him. I'm like, and I'll turn on to tape and you watch a lot of these other games. There are bona fide quarterbacks in the number 2 hole, like Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a bona fide number 2 to Trevor Lawrence. Like if Trevor Lawrence goes down, he's been a starter in this league. He's been in the playoffs. Like you're like, that's a bona fide number 2. Kyle Trask is like a huge freaking question mark. He's a huge question mark.
That's what I'm saying. Like I understand preseason is what it is, but he just never blown me away. He just never blows me away. And he even had moments in this game where, he took care of the football, but like I think he took a bad sack there on that last drive. When they were going down. I didn't like that. And this is the last year of his contract, so I think you'll probably see something new next year, but whatever. We'll get to that eventually. Not the run game was the star, like you said, again. I think it was 16 for 76 or 78 on the ground, which outside of the Sean Tucker run, there wasn't really like the big explosive runs, but 4.8 yards per carry is a hell of a lot better than the 3.1 that they ran for last year. That was like historically bad in the NFL. And we've talked a lot of that is obviously having Barton there and Cody Mauch as well. And Elijah Klein, who I continue to just be impressed by. I love too. Like, I think Justin School couldn't go in this game and they had to throw Elijah Klein at right tackle to start that game and hadn't taken a single snap at right tackle, by the way, in camp. And he was able to get out there and show off some of that ability. Obviously, as you saw in the clips, he eventually slid back inside, but he showed that he has some versatility. So, we've talked a lot about, Brent Bredesen is going to be the starting left guard to start the season. I'm not convinced that that's going to stick throughout the season because I just think Elijah Klein has put so much out there, and Bredesen is 31. He's been a journeyman. He could turn into Matt Filer of last year for all I know.
Very possibly.
And you saw what they had to do with Matt Filer last year. They had to go and put someone else in that spot. So
I hope we don't wait 5-6 games to realize, like we did last year with Matt Filer and the year before with Luke Gedeke, that guy's not getting the job done.
Right.
If especially when you got a kid like Elijah Klein who looks really polished and ready to go.
Yeah.
And big. And like he moves so well. Like when I watch him in practice, I'm shocked, honestly, that he lasted to the 6th round. I mean, I am shocked.
Well, developmental guy from what was he, UTEP, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of eyes on him, I guess, necessarily, but he's definitely shown that he's ahead of his development. I was going to say the other thing that I'm getting a little concerned about is the special teams. All of a sudden, Chase McLaughlin couldn't miss last year. He gets paid, and now he's missing. And Jake Camarda as well. And the reason why I bring up Camarda is because I think Todd Bowles admitted after the first game, like, yeah, he needs to be better. I think Jason Like made a note to call him out on the broadcast on Saturday night Saturday night, I think. And they brought another punter, obviously, maybe just to sort of like tell him, like, hey, let's get better, Jake, because we know that he can boom the ball, but it's the net. He constantly outpunts his coverage, and I think his net so far in the preseason, he's had like 9 punts. He's gotten plenty of work in 2 games. His net is like 38.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just not going to cut it. And last year during the regular season, I think it was like 41. So it's been even worse so far in the preseason. He had some wobblers in that game on Saturday. So generally not impressed with the special teams at the moment. And we know that, especially at the kicker position, we still got a lot of PTSD around here. When it comes to the kicker position.
I agree. And kickers are weird. They can have a great year like Chase did this year, and they can revert. They just get some stuff in their head.
And he never had a season before like he had last year, and then he got paid. So it's just something to keep an eye on.
All right, before we get to Pat Burnham, real quick, a couple notes on the Rays. Huge, and we'll do more in the 11 o'clock hour on the Rays. We'll get a little bit more into it, but great sweep of Arizona, a team that have won 18 of 21 coming in. And they sweep them. They lose Pete Fairbanks to a lat injury. Probably won't be back this year. And again, some crazy happenings in this game. But overall, you got to look at the pitching again. Drew Rasmussen and Tyler Alexander had a no-hitter through 6 yesterday. They have a 6-0 lead, and then they give it up, which is crazy. And then they come back and win it in the 12th when they had nobody on. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 11th inning. And couldn't score because series
strike out, and then Alex Jackson comes up to the plate, and it's just like you just knew. Yeah. You just knew it. The bases are loaded for Alex Jackson, and what does he do? He hits the softest little just grounder to the pitcher, who throws him out, and that was just. I thought they were going to lose the game after that. I was like, that's it. They've wasted too many opportunities, but I mean, they just kept battling. They kept battling, and this Dylan Carlson, I mean, top prospect in the Cardinal system. And didn't really pan out. He's only 25 still. He's only 25, so there's something there. There's talent there, and
he got him back
in the Sean Armstrong trade. And since he's been here, I think the OPS is over 930.
Better than Morel.
Yeah, he's been the best acquisition, I think, of everybody they brought in, and all they did was get him for Sean Armstrong.
Nothing new. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Pat Burnham's going to join us in the first of our FSU reports as the Noles get ready to go to Dublin. How about that? Cannot wait. It's game week. It's freaking game week for Florida State. Let's go. So we'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves, big Gator football fan, is heading with me to Dublin. That's right, to watch the Noles. That's how even-handed he is. He loves the Noles and loves the Gators. Definitely the Gators a hell of a lot more. But he's a great attorney. And if you get involved in an accident, you want him on your side. A very aggressive attorney that gets results. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. That's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Contact them through the website and tell them JP sent you. Back in 3 with Pat Burnham for the Oscar. Celebrate August with the dazzling green hue of Peridot, known for its vibrant and refreshing sparkle. Yes, that's the birthstone of August at the Gold and Diamond Source. Explore the Gold and Diamond Source's stunning collection of Peridot jewelry, showcasing the gemstone's unique glow and versatility in rings, necklaces, and earrings. Peridot's distinctive color makes it a standout choice for any occasion, adding a touch of elegance and charm to your ensemble. Enjoy 15% off when you shop August Gems online only. Stop by the Golden Diamond Source to experience the allure of August Gem and let their expert staff help you find the perfect Peridot piece. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmonton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the J.P. Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. Folks, they've been 60 years, named the Small Business of the Year Chamber of Commerce, mostly because of their incredible customer service. So they'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance, make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799, ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the U.S. Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez in Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com, to get your weight down, to get your nutrition right, to get your testosterone right. Go see our good friend Chris Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, let's welcome him in. The fans love him. They demand him. He is Pat Burnham from the Osceola with our first FSU report presented by Italiano Insurance. I'll see Jeff Italiano over there in Dublin as well. What's up, Pat? How are you, my friend?
Oh, man, wonderful. It's game week, finally.
Freaking game week, man.
9 months of waiting for this week is finally over. I'm glad we're talking football and not practice anymore. We're talking about a game. We're talking about a team getting ready for Georgia Tech. And listen, I think it's going to be a fun season. I know you're getting ready to go over to Dublin, and that's going to be a great trip. Wish I was going to be able to join you, but some of us have to stay back here and do the hard work of talking about Florida State football. Not watching. Right. But
better you than me.
That's right. I wish I was going, but no, I'm not. But listen, happy to be back, man. Getting fired up. Love with the passion you guys talk about the Bucks with, and got me fired up to be on this segment as heard you guys talking about what you guys have seen in camp down in Tampa.
Look at James. James is your biggest fan. Love some Pat Burnham. Go Noles. There you go, baby. They love you here. Well, I was just, I was reminiscing a little bit about last year. I guess we got to start there. Or do we? I don't know.
Sure.
And this is true. This is true. I read this, and it's absolutely true. As much as I zero in on the snub, which we all just absolutely freaking just can't. I mean, it's the worst worst taste in your mouth you could freaking leave a season with, especially one that was 13-0. If this is true, if Georgia had beaten Alabama in the SEC championship, or if Oregon had beaten Washington in the Pac-12 as expected, or if Texas had lost to Oklahoma State, not expected, or if Jalen Milroe hadn't made that miraculous throw to beat Auburn, FSU would have been in the college football. All that is true.
Yes.
So all that had to happen. It was almost like 96 again when all this crap had to happen for us to rematch with Florida. There was like 10 things that needed to happen. And even though we'd beaten them at home. So it all that happened. And then there was the snub, which is still just – and then Feinbaum last week rubbing it in. And if Mike Norvell doesn't have that on a loop on the entire transatlantic flight, he's just not doing it right. I mean, these guys, if they don't come out ready to kill people, then I'll be sure.
Feinbaum is a clown. I mean, he's past his prime. He needs to shut the hell up. I can't think of anybody's opinion about college football that I respect less than Paul Feinbaum.
Amen, brother.
He is just like a lot of guys that cover and want to be called analysts or experts. They're shock jocks. They want to say something controversial, and that's what he's doing. It's clickbait. But listen, I don't watch his show. It was much better when he was local in Birmingham on the radio.
Yes.
They brought him over to ESPN. And it's been a gradual downhill slide for him ever since. And screw him, whatever. Paul, run your mouth. But he's doing it for clickbait. And but yeah, I mean.
I think he did us a great service, though.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder. I mean, I think his message may get the guys that are returning from last year fired up. Listen, with the NIL and with the transfer portal, I'm not sure how much carryover there is from that. Really, we got 42 kids on the roster. So we'll see. But yes, and I don't listen. At some point, I even wrote about a little bit. I've got an article coming out, which you're going to help me break down tomorrow, called "Camp Takeaways" when you appear on our show. And at the end, I do start talking about the fact that, listen, even this year's playoff system is imperfect. Somebody's going to get left out. How many SEC teams get in? How many Big Ten teams? How many ACC teams? Is there? So the premise of my thing is there a path for a second ACC team into the playoff? And what does that look like? But listen, we're putting the plane together as we're taking off, right? Because nobody knows what the carnage in the SEC is going to look like, as they've brought in 2 top-tier programs. No one knows what the carnage in the Big Ten is going to look like, bringing in Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA. Are you going to allow a 4-loss team in the playoff if they play in the SEC? I think if ACC has 2 10-win teams, it's going to be hard to keep them out. But what you do know is that whoever ends up in the championship game in the SEC and Big Ten are going to get in. There's 4 teams right there. So do they get a third in? Possibly. But I don't think we know how that's going to play out this year. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be maddening. It's going to be frustrating. And what we do know is at the end of the season, there's going to be at least 2 or 3 teams. Even now, you got more teams that are going to have a gripe, right?
Right.
Because the margin of error between 12 and 13 is less than the margin between 1 and 5, right? Yeah. So, but anyway, I think it's going to be a fascinating year. I'm glad we're talking about it. As frustrating and as maddening as it can be. And listen, I think there's a lot of unknowns about this Florida State football team. So I think we've got a lot of road to hoe before we can worry about the playoff for Florida State or really anybody in college football. I mean, you probably got 2 teams that you can pencil in right now, and that's Georgia and Ohio State. And whoever finishes second in those 2 conferences after that,
they're going. Yeah.
I think the ACC is going to be interesting this year.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and break it down, because you've been at practice, and there's a ton of talent that is here at Florida State, no question about it. But you got to put it all together, and you got to go out and produce. And you lost a ton of production. So let's start on the defensive side, because I think that's going to be the side that really is going to determine whether FSU gets into this playoff. I think their defense can be absolutely magnificent, and it starts in the middle. So let's go on that defensive line and start with the big fat boys up front.
Yeah, and listen, I wouldn't call Gerald Jackson fat, but you can.
That's right. He's a big man. Maybe farmer, but not that.
Yeah. He's a big man, and he's a big, powerful man at that. Listen, I think those 2 guys, Jackson and Farmer, are the keys of the defense, which I think can be very good. You had questions coming into camp about linebackers. What I can tell you is what they play. I don't care who it is at linebacker. When they play behind those two guys, they're better than they were without
That's
it.
right.
But yes, Darrell Jackson, when he does not want to be blocked, cannot be blocked. We've seen that all camp. He is disruptive. He is a man among boys. He is a potential first-round draft pick. And if he plays like at Florida State, it's going to have a really good defensive front, particularly with him lined up to Farmer, who looks like he's going to have ready to have his best year as a player. This is a money year for both these guys. Yep. I think they both want to go out into the NFL after this year because they, like I said, Jackson's going to be and then of course you've got Patrick Payton lined up next to them, and on the other side now you got Marvin Jones Jr. I wrote in I broke down the depth chart yesterday after they released it. It's hard to believe that you can sit here and say this front four might be better than last year's front four when you're talking about two guys that may start for the Rams who are no longer on this roster, and Brady Fisk and Jared Verse. So I feel really good about the depth at tackle. They've got some players that can play there, and Daniel Lyons. I think KJ Sampson's this is his year to kind of be the heir apparent as the next impact defensive tackle. So I feel good there. Listen, there's a slight drop. Slight's being kind, but there is a slight drop off at defensive end when you go to Byron Turner Jr. and Sione Lolahi. Now, both of them are good. Lolahi's played a ton of football at Oregon State. That means something. He's not going to be intimidated. It's just a matter of him getting used to what his role in this defense. Turner's gotten better. It's still not Peyton, but he has gotten better in camp. So I agree.
That depth up front is great, because that means, especially in September and early October when it's hot as hell, that you guys you can keep them fresh. You can rotate them in. You're not losing a whole lot, and that means you're winning in the fourth quarter. Yeah. To me, that means you're winning in the fourth quarter. But
I think you feel good about the two deep.
Yeah.
On the front four. And I think you feel really, really good about the starting guys on the front four. Now, obviously,
tell me about the inside linebackers. I got to hear what's going on there.
Listen, Cam Riley and Blake Nicholson have gotten better and better with each camp. Lundy's been limited somewhat, but he is the guy at Mike, and he'll be backed up by either Omar Graham or Justin Cryer. Riley and Nicholson, I was not expecting much based off what we saw. Well, we hadn't seen Riley, right? I mean, he didn't roll until this summer, but he has been a surprise. It's funny. I've heard some background information that where, the defensive coaches weren't really sure if they wanted to take Riley, and now he's going to end up being one of the green dot guys. He's going to wear the
nice.
So he's going to be one of the guys talking to Fuller on the headset or listening to Fuller on the headset when they're calling plays. He's been impressive. The more he's gotten reps, the better he's looked. The more Blake Nicholson has gotten reps, the better that both those kids can run. Blake's got some natural instincts. All right, but both of them need reps, right? I mean, they need reps in this defense. They need reps on game day. So I really do. Now, at Mike linebacker, a little bit worried about the depth there, but it's time for Graham or Cryer to make a move and solidify themselves as the guy that may be the next guy behind Lundy, next year. Yeah. And Cryer's got some natural instincts. I didn't know what to think of him. He came in as a late transfer from Northwestern last fall when all that shit went down with Pat Fitzgerald. Yeah. He's been a pleasant surprise. I think he's a great player. I think he's a solid player, but he's got some natural instincts.
Good. All right, and this defensive backfield is just loaded with NFL players. Let's go through those guys.
Yeah, well, listen, I feel really good at corner. AZ has been dominant. You don't see many balls caught against him. He looks the part. He walks like he's the stud out there. He plays like he's the stud of that defense, and I think he's got a chance to play himself into a really high draft position coming out after this year, if that's what he chooses to do. I think he's got a chance to be a high-end draft pick, but certainly like what you've seen out of him. Now, listen, Fintrell Cypress has had the kind of camp we thought we might see out of him last year when he transferred into the program as an all-ACC performer from Virginia. Now he's moved back over to the field corner, which is where he played at Virginia. I think he's a little bit more comfortable there. So I really like what they got going at corner. Shaheem Brown's played a lot of football at strong safety or buck safety, however you want to call it. I thought he had a solid camp. I thought he might get pushed a little bit harder by KJ Kirkland. And I like KJ's future, but Shaheem's got that locked down. Now, listen, I think there's some questions at safety. Everybody and their brother was telling me that Earl Little was going to run away with the job when he showed up on campus last spring. That was what happened. Kevin Knowles and he are listed as co-starters. Kevin's had a good camp, but he didn't play well last year at times. Had some issues tackling. Has he gotten better? I think that's the big question there. Now, some people say, well, he played out of position last year. That doesn't stop you from missing tackles. Whether it may hinder you in coverage. If you're covering somebody you shouldn't be covering. But and listen, Earl Little has not played any college football, very little college football.
Right.
He's a highly sought after prospect coming out of high school, but he's unproven. So I got to see it to believe it there.
Absolutely.
And listen, and then you got the nickel. Then you got the free safety, and you got Devontae Brown, who transferred in, and Conrad Hussey. Hussey showed great potential last year. I think it's just more about, hey, can you handle being the guy? Because he didn't have, neither one of those guys had the guy last year. Potentially a very deep position group, JP, and one that could be the difference maker on how well FSU does on defense in 2024.
Nick, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that free safety spot. Devontae Brown, who I'm familiar with because he was at UCF first, and then Miami, Florida State. He's making the rounds across the state of Florida, which is modern day college football. But he's got 47 games under his belt, and I saw on the depth chart it was listed as the Brown or Hussey. Do you think that experience though probably gives Brown the nod to?
Yeah, I mean, you would think. Now, Hussey, he made some really nice plays last year, and when I said Devontae's not inexperienced in FSU's defense, right?
Right.
So obviously he's got some experience as a football player. It's hard to believe he's already a redshirt senior. I remember when he came out of high school. Boy, that went fast. So I think you'll see. Listen, we know they're going to rotate some. I mean, that's what they do. In today's world, you got to keep them happy too. I mean,
that's right. That's right.
Listen,
you're leaving 3 games in.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason Devontae was listed first on that. I don't think it's alphabetical order. I think he is the first guy in, and Hussey comes after him. But I really like Hussey as a potential long-term guy there. He's got some natural instincts. He plays hard. He competes. But I think that's got a chance to be a strong position. But again, you got a guy that's new to the FSU defense and a guy that hasn't played a ton of football. So we'll see.
All right. That looks like the question mark, at least from the outside looking in, is the wide receiver. So let's start there with Hakeem Williams, who was a 5-star, but again needs to prove it, right? And You've got some talent there, but a lot of guys that haven't done a whole lot. So let's talk about that group.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest question mark is what we've seen in practice, which is inconsistency with catching the ball security, those two things. Are they going to get straightened out as the season goes on? Malik Benson can take the top off of defense. You really think that he would be good in this offense, because what the quarterback is good at is throwing the ball way downfield. I mean, that's his strength as a passer. So you got a guy that can go down there and get it. I think Malik's got a chance to be a really good player. And then right now you got Kentron or Akeem behind him. We've seen flashes from both of them in camp. We saw flashes from both of them last year. It's just a matter of doing it time and time again. Ja'Kai Douglas at the slot had he started showing who he was last year deeper in camp. That was good to see. And then, you got Deuce and Elijah Moore behind him. I think at the end of the day, Elijah Moore will end up passing over Deuce Spann as the second slot receiver. And Elijah's had some really good days at practice. He's 6'4", 204. But he's a freshman, so we'll see what happens there. Then the one that surprised me was Jalen Brown, the redshirt freshman transfer from LSU. He has not flashed a ton to me, but it doesn't matter what I think. It's what Mike Norvell thinks. But you got Darian Williamson, who, again, I thought he might be the guy that stepped up this year, and we'll see if it happens. But he's listed as the second-team guy, along with LaWayne McCoy, who for a freshman has looked really good. But just no consistency. What JP, if you go back and compare FSU's offense last year to this offense and what we saw in camp, FSU's defense was really good last year. Probably, and you can't say that FSU's defense this year is good yet. They may be better. Who knows? But we saw FSU's offense at times dominate against FSU defense in practice. We have not seen that this year. It's been mostly a defensive camp. If you want to talk about who's looked better, but the receivers are a question mark, and I think the other question mark is what this offense looks like under DJU. I didn't think any one quarterback had a particularly great camp. In fact, I was hoping that by the time we got to practice 20 or whatever that it is they ended on last week, before they broke camp, I was hoping we'd see clear separation between DJ and Brock. I'm not sure I saw that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, now again, I need to preface this by saying all we see is practices. We don't get to see scrimmages. We don't get to see live tackle football. But what I remember is the offense does not compare against this year's defense the way the offense from last year compared against last year's defense. We haven't seen them play. All of my observations are going to be blown up at noon on Saturday in Dublin, Ireland, because I'm gonna have to reset all my thought processes because we're going to get to see them play live tackle football, get somebody that's scheming against them. But listen, I think the running back room, boy, I don't know how. I mean, you got 6 guys. If you told me any one was going into the game at any single time, I'd be like, fine, they can play. Roy Dale looks good. Lars Tofili looks good. Jalen Lucas, I think, is going to be the Deuce Vaughn of this year's running back class.
Yeah, is he going to get football? 8 to 10 touches a game, playing the slot as well, and Teofili as well?
I think they'll move those guys, especially with what's going on at receiver. I think I think you would see them line up in the slot quite a bit. But yes, if I'm Mike Norvell, and as good as he is at creating matchups, I'm putting the ball in Jalen Lucas's hands 8 to 10 times a game at a minimum. The guy is
electric
to cheer for because he's an underdog because he's 5'5".
Yeah,
they list him at 5'9", but guys, he's not 5'9". I'm telling you, he's not 5'9". But it's easy to pull for him. He plays hard. He's tough. But go watch Deuce Vaughn's film from Kansas State. That's about the and he's now with the Dallas Cowboys. Go watch his film, folks. If you're watching, listening. Go pull up Deuce Vaughn highlights from Kansas State. That's kind of what you're going to get out of Jalen Lucas, I think. I'm as excited to see him as I am anybody on this offense.
Nice.
But I think they're really loaded at running back. And as camp went on, we saw more out of Cam Davis, more out of Keziah Holmes, more out of Sam Singleton. And, listen, this offensive line should be able to, be better in run blocking this year than they were last. It's hard to be critical of. I mean, I know everybody says, well, the offensive line didn't have a great year running the ball last year. Well, hell, they won 13 games.
They protected pretty well.
Yeah,
so, you had a group of great receivers and a great quarterback. So
now I think the question on the offensive line is how good are they really in pass protection? Because Jordan Travis bailed him out a ton of times and over the course of his career. Yeah. So you don't. I'm not saying DJ used a statue, but he's not here.
Not Jordan Travis.
Right. So that I think that's my only question going into the offensive line. They're deeper there. You see a lot of development going on with Lucas Simmons, who's backing up Darius Washington at left tackle. Bryson Estes, who's backing up Richie Leonard. Man, I wasn't sure what to think of him when he got to camp, but the transfer from Florida. But he's a baller. He's
335 pounds, 2 guards at 335. That'll work.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. And then you got Keandre Jones and TJ Ferguson listed as or at right guard. I think it's Keandre. I think they, I think they'll rep those 2 guys in and out. Keandre sometimes blows up as far as, workload. I think that you'll see those guys. Then, you got Jeremiah Byers at right tackle. I hope he has a better season than he did last year. Again, overly critical, 13-0 team. But, when you start breaking down individual players, I thought he did not play up to what we expected. Now, maybe he played up to what the staff expected. Then they got Robert Scott listed as the backup at right tackle. We'll see we'll see how he does. Obviously, he was plagued by injuries last year, but the guy to keep an eye on as the season goes on is Andre Otto, I think he may push some guys for their starting jobs at one of the guard spots or one of the or the right tackle spot. He's worked at all three. He's a all ACC performer in the making, and I think he will be a guy that pushes for more playing time as the season gets deeper.
Hey,
well,
I didn't
that's
see
a hell of a breakdown.
I did see Julian Armella on that depth chart. Is it? And I know this is the third year, and it's not a great sign, I guess, if he's not there. And I know he came in with some buzz, obviously, as a top recruit. Is it just not coming together for him, you think, or is it just more about the guys they have at those positions?
Well, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both of those things, right? I mean, obviously, he's been given a chance at multiple positions. He's worked at guard this fall camp. Obviously, did not make the two deep there. Listen, it's not. There's no guarantee when a kid signs out of high school that he's going to successfully make the transition to college football. We could go look at every single recruiting classes, including Georgia and Ohio States and Alabama. Everybody considers the top three programs in college. They all miss, right? I mean, there's kids that just don't transition well. Now, do I think Julian Armella is a major college football player? Yes. Is it here? Right now, it does not look like it because he's not on the two deep. Listen, he's got some things that he can't break himself of. One thing you cannot do is lunge in pass protection. And that is probably and overextend yourself. And that's probably his biggest deficiency as a football player. He's tough. He loves Florida State. He's a good kid. He's a kid that you want to see have success, but you want to see all these kids that have success, right? As long as you know they're not a bona fide knucklehead.
What you don't want to see him do is get beat quickly to the inside.
So you don't want to see that either.
What you don't want to see.
Yeah,
and that happens.
Listen, offensive linemen, it's hard. I can't, guys develop at their own rate, right? I mean, we've seen guys that didn't play until their redshirt junior, redshirt senior year, and all of a sudden the light comes on, and boy, they're good. Now, the problem is you got the portal out. Does he stick around and battle through another spring? And listen, who knows what's going to happen with injuries and whatnot as we continue forward, and he may end up finding himself on the field. But yeah, right now, he's not a part of the two deep. You feel for all these kids that don't end up where they want to be, but that's just the way football is. It's a tough business, whether you're in college, pro, or even high school. When the depth charts come out, I mean, JP, I know you remember when you played. I mean, you knew what time the depth chart was being posted.
That's right.
And, you made sure that you were near the bulletin board when that coach walked away from pinning that thing up to find out exactly where you stood that day. And I remember as a player, both in high school and in college, I was very disappointed when the depth chart came out sometimes. And there were other days where I was fired up. So,
Coach, you told me if I didn't play baseball my spring year that I was going to start. What happened?
There's some.
What the hell happened there, Coach? Jackass.
Yeah. So you got some. But yeah,
ruined my baseball career and my football career. You son of a bitch.
That's right.
Not that I'm bitter at all, Michael Jordan. Not at all. But that's all right.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me. Yeah, I thought you knew about
me. Thanks,
so
Coach.
we both have similar stories.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so listen, I think the good news is they're deep on the offensive line, and the fact that a guy that is came in as highly thought of as Armella, you can turn that into a negative or good thing, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So you got a 5-star offensive lineman that can't play.
Is it fair to say, in conclusion,
for FSU this year? I don't mean to say he can't play.
Is it fair to say for FSU, we don't, you don't know what a team's identity is going to be, but I can see this team winning, in a way that perhaps Florida State hasn't really done a lot in its history, and that's crushing you in the ground game with a great running game and beating you on defense.
I agree totally with what you just said is the recipe going in. Listen, I think FSU knew exactly who it was on offense before the season started last year. Yes. I think they're trying to find their identity as an offense heading into this first game. That's a big difference, right?
Yes,
but I think who they are is a team that's got a lot of talented running backs, should have the best offensive line it's had in years. Mm-hmm. You have a quarterback that struggles with consistency and completions, or 59% completion percentage as a starter. We've seen some of that, and so yes, I think that is the recipe. Tough, hard-nosed defense, ball control offense. Listen, if they can run the ball, and the one thing I will say about FSU under Mike Norvell, Mike, as an offensive play caller, does a great job of masking the deficiencies in an offense.
Right.
You can say whatever else you want about Mike Norvell, but you have to say that he does a really good job about overcoming whatever the weaknesses are on his offense. He was able to produce a run game. A semblance of a run game. His first and second years in Tallahassee, when he had one of the worst offensive lines in major college football history.
Right.
And no offense to those guys, but it was a group, they just didn't get it done.
Facts.
The stats will bear that out. But yeah, so I think that's a good thing. But yes, I think that this is a run first, throw when you have to offense that will find some big plays off the running game. And I think that it's a total opposite than it was last year, right? The offense was dictated by the skill position players: Jordan Travis, Keon Coleman, Jaheim Bell, Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson. Right. This year, it's going to be controlled by the 5 guys up front.
Yep.
Those are the guys. So
you can win that way.
Yes, you can. There are a lot of teams that have won a lot of games that way.
And Alabama comes to mind. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you can impose your will on a team running the ball, it's a game changer in and of itself from a mentality. Yes, from a mentality standpoint. Yeah, so listen.
Here we go. All right. Pat, awesome to chat with you as always. Tell everybody how they can get your fantastic content and watch our podcast every Tuesday.
Yeah, go to theosceola.com or floridastate.rivals.com. I just did a breakdown, a written breakdown of the Too Deep depth chart that you can find at theosceola.com. JP is going to join us live on the Osceola YouTube channel at 3 tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit about my camp takeaways, which will be published tonight and be available in the morning. So I'm going to have JP break that down, see what he thinks. And then we're going to talk a little bit about we'll talk a little bit more with JP about the depth chart. And then obviously a lot of recruiting coverage, but we've got a lot of free content. And then obviously most of our recruiting content is going to be behind the paywall, but certainly go to theosceola.com or floridastate.rivals.com. And obviously you can follow me at Osceola Pat on Twitter. Our show that I'm doing with JP will appear there as well as Osceola YouTube.
Beautiful. Go Noles.
All right, JP.
I'll be in contact. We'll see you tomorrow, and then we'll see you across the pond.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a great one.
I'll see you virtually. Yes, absolutely.
Hey, glad to be back.
Yes, love you, man. Love you.
Guys.
The great Pat Burnham right there on the Osceola. It's football. It's officially football season now. Pat's breaking it down. There we go. I hope you guys love the football nerd talk as much as we do, because it just, I know it gets into a little bit in the weeds. If you're not an FSU fan, I get it. But we're going to do the same with the Gators and the Bulls.
I was going to say, as a fan of football, but all sports, I prefer, and I think everybody would agree, we like the ends, the weeds talk. I want to get deep. You don't want to go you know what surface levels for, JP? Surface levels for ESPN. We'll leave it to ESPN to do the surface level.
Yeah. The surface level in the politics. They can have all that. Yeah. By the way, we'll get into that. We got lots of stuff to get into in the 11 o'clock. It's been a bad weekend for ESPN, and I'm here for it. No question about it. All right, so we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll hit the Rays a little bit more. Crazy weekend that was, and something happened with them that was a long time coming, and we'll get into that as well. We'll hear from Todd Bowles after he watched the tape and the Jags week. And we'll hit a lot more college football as well. And the Tampa Bay Sun. We'll talk a little soccer. The Tampa Bay Sun, and Nick's got a breakdown of the new United States men's national team coach, which I'm looking forward to as well. We are jam-packed in the 11 o'clock hour. Do not go anywhere. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source, who remind you guys that you can come shopping at the Golden Diamond Source, not just for your ladies, but for yourself. Why not get yourself a watch? You deserve it. Get that baller watch you've been looking at. They have a tremendous selection at the Golden Diamond Source of gently used. You can get them as an investment or just to wear and bling it. I love my watches. Get a necklace, get a ring, get something with the kid's name on it. Anything they can do, the engraving, any of that stuff at the Golden Diamond Source. It's for guys too. So head on over there, 3800 Olmerton Road, and tell them JP sent you. Back in 3 with our second hour. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results, whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all. It's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at rogersparkgolf.net. That's rogersparkgolf.net. See you there. Celebrate August with the dazzling green hue of peridot, known for its vibrant and refreshing sparkle. Yes, that's the birthstone of August at the Gold and Diamond Source. Explore the Gold and Diamond Source's stunning collection of peridot jewelry, showcasing the gemstone's unique glow and versatility in rings, necklaces, and earrings. Peridot's distinctive color makes it a standout choice for any occasion, adding a touch of elegance and charm to your ensemble. Enjoy 15% off when you shop August Gems online only. Stop by the Golden Diamond Source to experience the allure of August Gem and let their expert staff help you find the perfect peridot piece. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmington Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey, it's... All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on into our second hour. I'm just laughing because something I saw on Twitter that you're not going to like, Nick Gaddis, but
Well, if I'm not going to like it, you can't say it then. That's the rule.
Anyway.
That's the rule.
I'm going to play it anyway. Oh, my God. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC. If you have any issues at all, call the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing. They will help you out. They will get right out to you, and you will get an honest tech. That's the big deal, right? You just want someone honest when it comes to plumbing and AC. We don't know anything about it, right? They show up, oh, the air conditioner's not working. You could just need your drain cleaned or your capacitor changed, which I did over the weekend, by the way. Click, click. Easy stuff. But they'll charge you for a whole new unit. They do it all the freaking time because most techs at these bigger companies are incentivized with highly based commissions to sell new units, right? So don't let that happen to you. Third Generation Plumbing, honest folks that have been in business since 1995. John Rodriguez, the owner over there, will not let that shenanigans go on. You'll get an honest tech that's going to take care of business right away at a great price. That's thirdgenerationplumbing.com, and they also do AC. All right, let's get into a little bit more from the Buccaneers. The Rays, as they sweep this past weekend, but lose Pete Fairbanks. Mm-hmm. So listen, you and I agreed that this season was over 2 months ago, or at least I did. You were a little late to the party, but you got there. With Pete Fairbanks gone, I mean, any semblance that they had of cobbling together, even though they sweep the Diamondbacks who are red hot coming in. I'm not sitting here saying this reinvention of the team is suddenly going to go on a hot streak and get into the playoff hunt. I don't see it happening. Do you?
Well, I don't mean to take the wind out of the sails of the very optimistic Rays bunch out there. And by all means, if you want to be optimistic, be optimistic.
Sure, absolutely.
But even though they went on that run there, or what, they won 7 or 8 series in a row, where they just kept taking 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. And I think for a while there, they had like the best record in baseball, along with the Astros, for like a pretty long stretch. They didn't really make up much ground.
No.
And the reason why is because they were just incapable of winning, 3 games in a row ever. That was really the problem. So, like, I think they needed this series, a sweep. They needed that weeks ago, in my opinion. I think just right now it got them a game back over 500.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just right where they are. It's average. They're right at 500. They're 6.5 back, by the way, of the wild card.
Yeah.
And I just don't think they have enough firepower
5 weeks to go
to make all that ground up. This isn't 2011 anymore. Okay. They don't have those type of guys on this team right now, even though they did hit well this week. And guess what? It was entertaining. Like you said, the Rays were fun to watch. I almost tweeted it yesterday. I was like, the Rays are fun to watch. I'm glad I didn't, because then they decided to give up a 6-0 lead.
Yeah.
After they had a no-hitter going through 6 with Tyler Alexander and Drew Rasmussen. Fairbanks going down. Yeah. I think it's a stretch to say if he'll be back at the end of the season. His stuff, you could tell, just wasn't great in that game. And even on Friday night, I mean, he blew the save there. And, it's so funny. Until that blown save, I was almost about to come on here and I was going to bet, you know what? If there was a perfect weekend for the Rays, this was it. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, it had to get crazy. And it's like the fundamentals of baseball just completely went out the window there in the extra innings, just a little bit. And Kevin Cash showed some emotion on that play when Taylor Walls, credit to him, he got a big hit to make it 7-7.
Finally.
And then the ball gets away there by the catcher, or the pitcher, I think, had it, and he decides to try to go take third. When you're the game-winning run, there's only 1 out at that moment. I don't know what we're pushing it for to third. It wasn't obvious that he was going to make it there.
No, in fact, you as soon as he starts going, you're like, why are you running to third base? You're going to be out by 10 feet.
And you saw Kevin Cash immediately after turned around in the dugout and was like, like he said, F-bomb. So Kevin Cash showed some emotion, and Kevin Cash as well. I know you alluded it. I think this is what you were alluding to going into break. He did something that was a long time coming, and that was that he sat Jose Siri down.
Benched his ass from what he did last week.
Yep.
If you missed that, this was, I think it was a night. I don't remember the exact setup, but I think it was a 9th inning tie game or down a run or something, tight game. And he hits a ground ball, and Taylor Walls was running on the play, who was on first base. So Houston tries to turn 2, but Walls is already on the bag. So Altuve just relays the ball to first base, and the whole time Siri is watching as he runs down the baseline half-ass, doesn't even sprint. If he sprints, he beats the throw, I think, likely. And you got 2 on, nobody out, instead of 1 on, 1 out. And it was enough for Cash to say, you're going to sit the next couple of games, which they won, by the way, Friday and Saturday. And Siri didn't really help him much on Sunday, as far as I could see. I've said Siri's been an issue for the entire season. Why they didn't trade him was probably because nobody would give up anything. But he's a culture killer. He's a culture killer, in my opinion. And you just can't have guys. I don't like the showboating. It's over the top. It seems like he's way too more interested in what earrings he's going to wear and what flair he's playing with the game and his next bat flip than he is playing fundamental baseball. And and when you keep putting guys out there like that, you're going to keep getting what you allow. And I think this has been a big mistake for Kevin Cash to allow this to go on as long as he has.
Yeah. And I love how he
again and rein this crap in.
Yeah, I love how honest he was. And the direct quote was, we're asking guys to provide consistent effort and look. And he had more to that quote, obviously, but I love the direct honesty, kind of how he was last year when he benched Wander Franco.
Right.
If you recall, what was it in like May or June or something like that when the effort wasn't there? So I like that Kevin Cash has done that. I don't think Jose Siri is going to be long for Tampa Bay. Probably after this season, we'll find another solution because I'm just over a guy that hits 190.
Yeah.
Just has no plate discipline and isn't interested in running out ground balls.
Flipping bats. I mean,
It's
you
just
hit a home run.
I think we're all over it.
Yeah, and I think James is really all over it. He says, I commend Cash for benching Siri, but yesterday he inserted him as a pinch hitter. Siri is horrible. How about that strikeout while falling out of the batter's box with the bases loaded? Just DFA him. I'm with you, James. I've been with you for a while on this.
Oh, and then he also had a he also had another moment there or two. I think it was maybe Caballero was on third and he decided to lay a bunt down, and it was the worst bunt in the history of baseball. And I think they sat Josh Lowe to have Jose Siri do that, which made no sense.
What are you doing? The left on left and right. He's a better hitter. His Siri's terrible. I don't get it. And some of that stuff, I just don't know if Cash is signing off on that. I think he's told to do half of this stuff. I really do. I may be wrong. But I just, this team has been undisciplined the entire season. It's shown. Now they're trying to remake the team, but you still have a lot of the same issues because you still have a lot of the same guys. And I think Siri's one of those guys. But what's your take on what you've seen from Caminero so far? I mean, defensively, I think he's been tremendous. And offensively, I like his at-bats. I mean, we haven't seen a breakout, but again, it's hard for him in a lineup full of free swingers that, I think teams, even though he hasn't proven it at the major league level, are going to pitch around him because they know he's got pop. And it's going to be hard for him to get good pitches to hit. But I think for the most part, I like his at-bats.
Well, he got intentionally walked yesterday and extra innings in a big spot. So that shows you that pitchers were keeping him honest. And I think it's important to note, yes, we've been calling for him to come up because everybody else in that lineup for a while was just doing absolutely nothing. But it's also important to note the gap between minor league pitching and major league pitching is probably as spread out as it's ever been.
Yeah.
As it's ever been. And I will say, when he first came up, he gets plotted directly into a series against Houston, who's got nasty pitchers all over their staff. And you saw he had to face Josh Hader 2 nights in a row, and Josh Hader had his way with him. I mean, it just wasn't even close.
Yeah.
So Junior Caminero is going to go through that stuff.
Yeah,
he does that to the best of the best around the league. So not concerned about that. Even though he hasn't had that true breakout, he's still quietly doing his thing. I think he's 6 for 18 at the plate. That's a .333 batting average.
That's great.
I think he's seen a lot of pitches. He's stolen some bases. And the biggest thing was his defense, because everybody was talking about, well, he's not a plus defender. He's not this, he's not that.
Not what
He's
I've
made
seen.
several web gems all over the place. And then yesterday, when Yandy gets hit on the first play of the game and has to come out of the game, guess what? Junior Caminero gets thrown into first base. And it's like, wow, now all of a sudden I'm playing first base. I haven't done it. And it didn't matter. Junior Caminero looked like a natural over there at first base yesterday.
He really did.
So now I know that he's got positional versatility as well. So I'm still excited about Junior Caminero. I think he's been great. I did want to point out, actually my real quiet star right now of this Rays team, and it's got me really excited now with Fairbanks out because I want to see him in some more high leverage situations, and next year potentially, is this Edwin Uceda. My goodness. We haven't talked about him, JP, but since he's been up 28 innings, he struck out 35 batters and he's only walked 4, only given up 13 hits, 3 earned runs. He's just been fantastic. Another guy that you got him in the Rays lab. Nobody had ever heard of him. And he throws heat, yes, but he's nasty. He got out of a big situation yesterday.
I like
you
his
saw the
arm
emotion he showed on the arm. He's only 26 years old. I mean, you have a potential closer of the future sitting right there right now. And I want to see him in more high leverage spots. And then my last standout of the Rays for this series, and he's been doing it for the last month or so, and I think I'm issuing an apology here, is Brandon Lau. Brandon Lau is the best player on this baseball team. He is the best player on this baseball team. It's really, and there's a big gap between it, by the way, JP.
Yeah.
He's mashing the ball right now. He's playing good defense when he's out there. He's healthy. He's healthy.
For how long?
How long we don't know, but for right
long?
now he's healthy. He's been arguably the best power hitting second baseman when healthy this season. And
2 out of 8 seasons he's played more than 83 games. 2 out of 7. 2 out of 7 seasons he's played more than 83 games. And yes, when he's healthy, he's great. He's
so locked in right now.
Yeah.
He's so locked in right now. And the OPS plus is 142, which there's maybe one second baseman on the planet right now that's higher than him. Like he's been a marvel to watch. He homered on Dog Day yesterday because of course he had to. That's just customary. So shout out to Brandon Lau. We almost were giving up on him. But he's been the Rays' best player for the last couple months.
He has. And when he's hot, he's hot. He can carry your team. And then, as soon as you're just giving him his flowers. Nick just hurt him, by the way. He's on the IL just by what Nick
come
said.
on.
He put him on the IL.
Come on.
No, absolutely. Totally agree. And let's just hope he stays healthy. But again, in a time when it's over, does it even matter? When it matters, you don't step up.
Yeah, he's never been a postseason performer.
Atrocious.
Never been a postseason performer, but he is fun to watch when he's on one of these heaters like he's been on for the last 2 months.
And one more Rays note. A little article came out last week. So the guys that did all the negotiating with the Rays, the mayor's team, got $250,000 in bonus money for doing their job. Now, if this doesn't stink to high political heaven, I don't know what does. You just gave away $1.6 billion in public money to a billionaire and gave him a discount of $400 to $500 million on real estate. You did that to your taxpayers for a project that has very little guarantee of success. In fact, the numbers would all point to it being a horrible failure in terms of the location of a stadium. You built this whole thing around a failed location, which nobody seems to ever talk about. It's a tremendous risk for the taxpayers of Pinellas County. And after you gave away all that money, you gave away another $250,000 of the taxpayer money to people who have worked hard, I'm guessing, worked overnights and all that, which is their job, by the way, and they get paid handsomely for doing their job. They get paid really, really well. And they got bonuses, which the mayor said well within his authority, his authority to do it. But is it the right message that you're sending? You just gave away $1.6 billion in public money, the biggest stadium finance in history, into one of the smallest markets and cities ever. And you're going to put another $250,000. Yeah, it's within your purview to do it. And it's in the budget, but that money could go to other things. I just think it's a really, really bad look. It smells a payoff. It's a really, really bad look. But I hope it all works out. I hope it all works out exactly the way they hope it is, that the millions and millions of fans will come in there and all the money will come back. It'll be easy to get in and out of parking garages for a stadium in that downtown area. And all the money that is supposed to go to the $50 million that's coming back to the quote community. Hope that all works out well. Hope it all works out great. Good luck. All right, let's take another break. And when we come back, we'll hear from Todd Bowles, a little bit more Bucks talk. I want to get to the soccer stuff as well. The Tampa Bay Sun and the United States men's national team has a new coach. I want to talk some Caitlin Clark with you as well, Nick. I want to talk some golf as well. And I have a thought on Deion Sanders, who had a really interesting week as well. So all that and more coming up after the break. We are brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions. If you have a business event coming up, a big birthday coming up, or you're going to make a big old party out of something, or you got a business meeting, it's Extravaganza Productions. They will do it flawlessly, on budget, and they'll come up with some great creative ideas for you as well. You can get a free creative meeting with their great producers over there, Paul Thomason, Dolly Brown, great friends of the show, and they'll do that for free. You can tour their warehouse and see all the great props they have and come up with some great ideas for your event. They're the best in the business. Extravaganza Productions. Back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results, whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all. It's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Geddes Gordon Group. I just heard this the other day. Interest rates are coming down. We warned you. We warned you that when interest rates come down, it's going to go right back to the way it used to be. Multiple offers on all the different houses. You can still get in the market, folks. Call the great folks at Geddes Gordon Group. Call Jane Geddes and get this thing running. If you were looking at a house, get in there now. Get the interest rates now. If they're still too high, you can refinance later. But get the house you want at the price you want. Jump in now. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, call Jane Geddes, the Geddes Gordon Group. Go to GeddesGordon.com. I saw Jane was at the Tampa Bay Sun yesterday, their inaugural game. They get a draw, 1-1, packed house at Riverfront Stadium there, or they transformed Blake High School into this beautiful soccer stadium by the water. I was not there, but saw a lot of people were. A lot of stuff on social media, over 5,000 fans. They get a draw against Dallas in the USL Super League, new league opener. Ashley, is it Orcas? Orcas, 6 saves as their goalie evidently was going bananas, and Brooke Hendricks got the goal, and they had a 1-1 draw. New women's professional soccer in Tampa. Love it.
Yeah, they've marketed this thing pretty well, I'd say. And obviously they had Jane Castor was there, the mayor. Yeah. Obviously good to see her out at these events. She does a good job, I think, with the sports teams around here. I feel like some mayors and politicians just never want to be a part of it, but she really embraces it. Baker Mayfield and his wife and their daughter were there as well. Titus is everywhere. I mean, I was watching SmackDown on Friday because it was in Orlando, and guess who was there? Titus.
Of course
it was. He's just everywhere.
Yeah,
Guys
it's
just
a big
running
event.
around.
Titus is there.
Yeah, any big
Especially
event, Titus O'Neill's there. So, yeah, like you said, 5,000 people at Blake. I thought I heard that they're like kind of redoing things, the field and the
Oh,
locker
it
rooms
looks
and
beautiful.
everything.
Yeah, it looks
And I
beautiful.
learned too, these
Great
games are
job.
on Peacock as well. So you can actually, there's actually a good way to watch them as well.
Hopefully I can watch it on demand. I'm going to go watch all this stuff that went on. It looked like a great atmosphere. And that's something I think is needed in the town, especially for the young girls. So many young girls play soccer, and to be able to look up to those girls playing professionally, like, is a really, really cool deal.
And the way the Tampa Bay Rowdies, how popular they are over in St. Pete. I mean, Tampa's a good little spot for soccer. I think they get overlooked a lot.
Yeah,
They get overlooked a lot. But I think they're a good spot for soccer.
All right, so the U.S. men's national team got their coach, and it's a guy from the Premier League who coached Chelsea and a couple other teams. Tell us about it.
He was the big coach at Tottenham, one of the big Premier League teams. Went to a Champions League final in 2019, I believe it was. Then he went to Paris Saint-Germain, the best team over in the French league. And then had a year last year at Chelsea before parting ways because of a different in philosophy with the owner, Todd Boehly. But yeah, this is a big coup for he's by far the best already. He's the best United States men's national team coach they've ever had. And frankly, it's not even close. He has, for the most part, been considered a top 10 manager right around there in the entire world. It was a little bit of a shocker that he had not been picked up to this point, but maybe this is what he wanted to do, was go into the national team side of things. I have to think, because the deal is not signed yet, it's been agreed to. I have to think that the deal, I mean, this has got to be, the U.S. is probably going to be paying some pretty penny here. And they usually have not paid well, but if you're getting Pochettino, you're probably paying some pretty good penny. So I'm pretty hopeful for this. He's developed a lot of good young players before. So I'm optimistic, and I actually can tell you that the United States Federation of Soccer did something correct, I think. And I haven't even seen them kick a ball yet.
What type of team will he, what's his style? What do you think he'll transform the men's team? Because this is a men's team that has some good young strikers, and some of which have had their beef with the past coach. What does this bring to USA Soccer? Certainly a breath of fresh air from the long-time Berhalter regime. I think it's much needed, but you only have 2 years until the World Cup. That's a challenge, right?
Yeah, that is the challenge, and that's why this move should have been made 2 years ago instead of 2 years out from the World Cup. So that's always going to be a challenge, but I appreciate the fact that they went and got a legit coach who, even though he's never done the national team stuff, and that's very difficult to do because you're not around these players a lot.
Right.
As far as what you're going to see, it's very high pressing, attack minded kind of. Now, Chelsea did not exactly play the best, I think, for his tactics last year. Don't think he necessarily had the players he wanted to play that system, because Chelsea's, for people that don't know, they're kind of a mess. They're kind of a mess right now with the Todd Boehly, the American owner, coming in and just buying every player possible with no sort of style of fit or structure to it. So it didn't work at Chelsea, but he did really well at Tottenham playing that style. And like I said, got to a Champions League, and Tottenham's never won a trophy. So,
he's the David Tepper of the Premier League.
Todd Boehly is probably worse than that. Nobody. They're anti-American ownership in the Premier League. So,
for good reason.
You can expect to see some high pressing. It's going to put an emphasis on the best players to put them in the best roles. So, just know that this is not a middle of the road hire. This is far from the days of getting an MLS coach like Greg Berhalter. I can't even like describe the gap between Greg Berhalter. I can't. Like, to put it in NFL terms, we're talking about like
Urban Meyer and Andy Reid.
Well, yeah, based on their NFL careers, you could say that. That's a good way to put it. But he's not. But he's not Andy Reid. I'm not going to say he's like that, but he's still a really, really good coach.
Cool. I'm looking forward to anything but Berhalter. That's for sure. So this is the you're not going to like, but I'll love it. So Kamala Harris showed up at a Pennsylvania high school football team and was doing a message to the team. And her message to the team was, even if you don't win every game, you're still undefeated. Here, let me play this for you.
And by doing that, and all that requires, which is the hard work, the practice, working as a team, knowing that you will be undefeated even if you don't win every game, but no circumstance or event or moment will defeat your spirit?
Bringing communism to your sports and equity. Everybody ends up in the same place. Everybody's undefeated. What are the standings going to look like? Everybody's going to be 10-0 in high school. That's fantastic. Love that. All right, what else do we want to get to? You want to play some Todd Bowles from this weekend? Oh, the other quarterback. I want to get to the other quarterbacks. We talked a little bit about Jaden Daniels in the beginning. He looks so good. He is so in rhythm. His ball placement is just perfect. I think he's going to be the rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. It'll be tough with Caleb Williams. I get it, but I think Jordan Daniels is going to win that. He's 12 of 15 for 123 yards. I mean, the dude just does not miss. I think Washington is going to be a little tougher team, and his leadership, everybody's saying, has been tremendous. So obviously the Bucs open with Washington at home. Todd Bowles will have a little something for the rookie, but
yeah.
He's been impressive.
He's surrounded by a lot of veterans. They brought in Eckler, and we'll see if Eckler has anything left. He looked pretty bad last year with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin, obviously, veteran. Zach Ertz, veteran. They drafted that tight end from Kansas State that I love, Ben Sinnott, who I wanted the Bucs to get so bad. Big fan of him.
Looked really good.
We'll see what their defense looks like. But, yeah, I think Washington is one of those teams that I think a lot of people think are going to be one of the worst in the NFL. I don't see them like that. I think they're going to be – I'm not saying they're going to make a playoff team, but I think I could see them winning 7 games, getting to that point. They're not there yet. But, yeah, I like Jaden Daniels and what I've seen. You talked about Caleb Williams. He had the highlight reel plays of the day. He bounced back because he didn't have the best start in that game. But not about how you start.
It was really bad.
Not about how you start. And, I mean, listen, the play he made, it was so USC. Like, just –
the deep ball to Adunze was
the deep ball to Adunze. I mean, you just can't teach that. I don't know anybody else that could do that was in this class, like including
rolls
Jaden
out
Daniels.
Turns around, escapes a rush, rolls out to his left, and then just not stop, but on the run, throws a ball about 55 yards in the air in stride down the left sideline. And Adunze catches it in a combat catch. Guy was in a really good position. He dropped it right in, and then he did for this. That didn't count because Adunze was out of the back of the end zone. I don't know how he doesn't keep his feet in the end zone there. He escapes to his right and just flick of the wrist, man. He throws a bullet about 25 yards to the back of the end zone. It's Adunze right in the chest, but he's standing out of bounds in his Dan Orlovsky moment.
I guess the best quarterback, or at least the one that's really been the apple of many's eye, was Bo Nix. Yeah. And we talked a lot last week how composed he looked. And last night, I think he was 8 for 9 with a touchdown. Again, he was just
completion in the preseason.
Yeah,
he's 23 for 30 and 2 touchdowns. Also has a running score. He just looks fantastic.
He does, but I mean, it's the preseason, folks.
I know.
I don't want to go crazy, but I'm seeing too much hyperbole. I'm just seeing too much hyperbole on all these quarterbacks. Sometimes it's like I can say some of them played good or played bad, whatever, but it's sort of projecting things. Like, I mean, I hate to bring him up, but he's probably my Feinbaum. He's probably like this is what he is to Feinbaum is what Colin Cowherd is to me sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, he thinks Bo Nix is already the best quarterback in the class, and he's going to have the best.
He and Sean Payton are close.
I understand the whole Sean Payton thing, but can we slow our roll here? Bo Nix is 24 years old. He's 5 months older than Trevor Lawrence, who is in his 4th season in the NFL. Just putting that in perspective for you. Bo Nix has played more college football than anybody in the history.
He should be better.
That's what I'm saying. Bo Nix should be coming in right now and looking really polished. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm not trying to. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, slow your roll.
I agree.
What his ceiling is right now.
And Daniel Jones.
Oh, I don't need to talk. I mean,
looking like Daniel Jones. You see all the memes over the weekend. It's just hilarious. He threw a really bad pick six, flushed out of the pocket, going down in the end zone, just throws it up for grabs. Very Jameis Winston-esque. Turns it's another pick, throws another one that should have been a pick six on a curl route on the right side, at about the 25-yard line, his own. He's just awful, and threw another pick down the sideline.
He hasn't had a 3-touchdown game in the NFL since 2019.
And they just gave him a boatload of money.
His best career game in the NFL career was his first game, by the way, which was against your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like to forget about it. In fact, I'm sorry I brought it up. But yeah, Daniel Jones his career is just gone completely sideways. And Brian Daboll, you can tell, is just like over it. He's over it. He's going to get Brian Daboll fired.
He might.
If they win 4 games or something like that, like Daboll's the one that's going to take the hit for it, unfortunately.
Caitlin Clark set a WNBA rookie record for assists at 19 assists last week in a game, broke the single game record, leads the league this year with 8.3 assists per game, is I think having a historic season in terms of points and assists.
She just set the assist record, I think, yesterday for a rookie.
Yeah, for a rookie. Just absolutely has, and really took a terrible team in the Fever, and they may even make the playoffs this year. Still a couple games under 500.
They're third in the conference, in the Eastern Conference. I'm not sure how it works. Like, is there like a certain amount of Eastern and West that get in, or I can probably look that up real quick, but they are third in the.
No, I've heard they're in playoff position.
What do you call it? Yeah,
but she definitely wasn't.
Yeah,
good
they're
enough
13 and 15
or the.
They're 13 and 15, which is still, I mean, considering the way they started the season,
and
how bad they were last year, and it really is all Caitlin Clark. She's just on a heater.
Well,
she is on a heater right now.
A month off of rest certainly helped her tremendously.
Correct.
No question. Mike Bianchi wrote a really interesting column for the Orlando Sentinel that I read this morning. It was really, really good about Deion Sanders. And the point was Deion didn't learn anything from Bobby Bowden, his coach. Deion did a press conference last week where he spent 99% of his time belittling every question, every word choice by every reporter, telling some reporters who work for a local CBS station he's not answering their question because of what CBS National did to him, which is absolutely idiotic. Means you don't understand what the hell, how media works. And Deion certainly should understand that because he's worked in the media for a very long time. He's petulant. He's petty. Doesn't want a high school recruit, which is fine. That's his strategy. I get that. But the way he's treating and there's, the reports of this team where his sons are bullying other players. One of Shador has a $15 million lawsuit judgment against him now. We're talk of guns and bullying it's bad. It's bad for Deion. And it looks like instead of trying to clean up his program, he's doubling down and us against the world mentality. If you want to go to war with your media and your local media, it's a really bad idea. And I think it's starting to crumble for Deion. I thought he was going to be above this and be able to, be professional and handle the criticism that comes with being in that position. But he's just, Coach Prime. You don't talk about me. Or
he can't shut it off. He cannot shut it off.
It's childish, is what it is, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
No, the only way
I think he would have been one and done at USF, by the way.
I was going to say USF
won 10 games and he'd have an SEC job by now.
Yeah, he just makes it to where unless he wins 8, 9, 10 games this year, it's just going to come on even more. Everybody's going to pile on even more. That's what he does when you talk so much like he has.
They open at Utah, do they not?
They open up against North Dakota State.
Oh, do they? Okay.
And I'm here to tell you right now, they're in danger because North Dakota State's the number one D2, D1 FCS, whatever. But we know that they play much better than that.
Yeah. And one other note: last weekend, Sam Ponder and RG3 were let go by ESPN on Friday, which is really bizarre. So close to football season, and there was a huge backlash on Twitter because Sam Ponder and RG3 were one of the few ESPN voices that supported the Supreme Court decision, a 5-4 decision against the Biden-Harris administration that wanted to change Title IX to allow men to compete in women's sports and go into the locker rooms and all that stuff. Thank God the Supreme Court put a quash to that. And those two voices were summarily fired at ESPN. Also, two of their voices that have been that are very open in their Christianity. And if you're paying attention at all, you've seen ESPN purge their staff of anybody that is conservative thinking, Christian conservative in any way, or supports men not being in women's sports. And they fired them. Both in very, very important positions, headlining positions. Sam Ponder doing NFL pre-games on Sundays and NFL Live, and RG3 being one of the up-and-coming stars for their college football. And it's sad to me. And then Dan Orlovsky put out there, and I think on Twitter, support for the Protect Our Daughters, and then took it down and then said, "This I represent ESPN, so I can't do that," which is so sad. And there's been other voices that have piped up and said, yeah, you can't say those things at ESPN. They're a place that touts their diversity and inclusion, but has no diversity and inclusion in their staffing and in their opinion shows whatsoever. And again, you can have any opinion you want, but don't tell me you're some diverse and inclusive company when you do not allow other non-agenda driven opinions. And this is proof positive. You saw it happen with Sage Steele. You've seen it happen with these two. And look, they're a private company that can do whatever they want, but just be transparent about what you're doing. And everybody knows it. And I put some stuff up on Twitter supporting them and supporting that opinion. And I'm not saying it is fact. I don't know if that's exactly why they were fired, but it looks pretty evident when you're just firing these. And they also supported FSU. RG3 came out and kind of ripped Feinbaum for his take on FSU, crying so many tears about the snub. And so and you support FSU. That was the triple Lindy for RG3. No way that ESPN was going to put up with that. No way. All right, we're going to take our final break. And when we come back, Jennifer Dubel is going to join us. She is a candidate for Circuit Court Judge, the 6th Circuit. We've had some of the candidates on last week, and we'll continue with that as we care about our community, and we want to support those candidates that certainly support a lot of those values. So we'll be back with Jennifer Dubel right after this. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business.
Take your business or nonprofit to the next level with the power of video. Red House Streaming offers complete field production services. Our experience and expertise has you covered every step of the way wherever you want to go. From initial concept to final delivery, we'll handle it all and bring your vision to life. As your all-in-one production partner, we offer comprehensive marketing packages that not only showcase your brand, but amplify your reach. Contact Red House Streaming today.
Hey, if you love golf and the new Top Tracer virtual golf experiences that have taken the golf world by storm, well, you're going to love the new Top Tracer range at Rogers Park in Tampa. It combines the fun of competing virtually on the world's greatest courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with an outdoor range experience to track your ball, not just hitting it to that net. I love it. They have great brand new spacious covered bays, huge fans blowing down. It's very enjoyable even when it's hot. So grab your golf buddies. Great price, $25 an hour up to $45 at peak times. Balls are included, and you can also play the new short course for just $9. It's all at rogersparkgolf.net. To reserve a bay, go to rogersparkgolf.net. I'll see you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, and we've been highlighting some of the candidates that we're supporting in the upcoming election, which is tomorrow. So get out and vote tomorrow. I want to welcome in Jennifer Dubeld. She has been a longtime 17 years assistant public defender in Pasco County, now running for circuit court judge in District 6, which is Pasco and Pinellas County. Jennifer, good morning to you. Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Well, quickly, just tell us why you're running for circuit court judge.
Well, it's really important to have good judges that have the experience. I have been an assistant public defender. It's almost 18 years this fall. I know what it takes to run a courtroom, and I have been tested many, many times on whether to follow the law and stay true to the law, or, try to do as many people think, find loopholes in the system, and that's not what I do. I've proved myself over the years, and I think it's the next natural best step for me to continue to give back to the community and also to make sure our Constitution stays intact. It's really important that we have judges that stand firm next to our Constitution and that will uphold that. I've been in front of many judges over my career. I practice in Pinellas County, and most of the judges are great and they always follow the law, but there have been some times where, some judges will bend and, they will direct their orders around the law. And I think that that's so important to always maintain our law. The rule of law is so important, but also to be respectful to people. And, I've had the experience, and I think that this is the best thing for not only myself, but for our legal community and just the general community itself.
Well, there's a national conversation going on about law and order in this country right now. There's obviously one party wants to be very lenient on crime. I think I think it's an easy way to say it. And you have judges that are letting people go all over the place, and they're going out and committing horrendous crimes. So where do you stand on that nationally?
And other states that have that exact scenario going on with the catch and release, where they let people ride out to then turn around and possibly commit murder or other horrific crimes. I don't agree with that. I think we have the laws for a reason, and they have to be followed. Everyone needs to be accountable for their actions. And I've noticed a lot on this campaign trail that many people seem to think, because I'm a public defender, that I must not believe in following the law and that I must think that it's okay to just let people out. And that's completely wrong. I believe in the rule of law and our Constitution. If we didn't have that, I think we would be like other third world countries. And, I am very proud to live here, and I want to maintain law and order. Otherwise, we're going to turn into a really scary situation here.
Yeah, and I think we've seen that in other communities around the nation. It seems like, at least from my vantage point, that in Hillsborough and Pinellas County and Pasco County, that we don't have those issues. Maybe I'm wrong. What is your vision of how law and order in terms of what's happening in our locale?
No, I think locally, I think we're doing very well. We have a great state attorney for the Pinellas and Pasco circuit, and then also over in Hillsborough, our sheriffs are great with implementing the law. And I think that we're in a very good situation. I think overall, the state of Florida, we're doing really well, especially compared to many other states that, the crime rates are horrific. I think our crime is pretty low here in Pinellas and Pasco, and that's because they don't mess around. You break the law, and then there's a punishment for it.
What do you attribute that to? That we're different? Is it at the top and DeSantis or state attorney Moody, or just the local state attorneys? Why are we doing well in that regard?
I mean, overall, everybody plays a factor in this, but I think it's locally the state attorney's office. That's what really controls. I mean, obviously, if we had a governor that wasn't so strong on law and order, or an attorney general that wasn't so firm on law and order, we would have some issues as well. But it all starts on the local level. So it's really important to have a state attorney that's going to implement the law and make sure that, people are held accountable. When you start getting state attorneys that, like in some other states, that will just release people and not proceed with charging individuals for breaking the law, then that's when you start having issues because people don't take it seriously. They think it's okay.
Where do you come down on the situation that happened in Hillsborough County, speaking of state attorneys, where DeSantis removed the state attorney, who again, I believe is running again. Where do you come down on that?
So I can't really say much about that other than the state attorney's job is to enforce the law. And they sign a statement stating that they will follow the law and, they will make arrests based on people, the law. And so when you go around the law and you say you're not going to prosecute, I think that's an issue.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Jennifer, so anything else you want to tell us about your candidacy, where people can vote for you, what district it is? Not many people might not know if they're in the 6th district. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my territory is all of Pinellas and Pasco County, and tomorrow is election day. It's really important to have judges that have actual courtroom experience. In my race, I have more courtroom experience than both of my opponents together. And that's significant because I have proven that I know what to do in court. I can act fast. Judges have a lot of pressure to make decisions, and some are life-altering decisions. Doesn't matter what area of the law. It could be family law, it could be civil, it could be criminal. But you have to make these decisions, and it has to be fast and not based on your feelings. And I've been doing this long enough that I know exactly how to do that. And a lot of my clients don't really like me when I tell them that they were wrong. And there's if you commit a crime and there's the evidence, then the next best step is to figure out where to go from there. So I think I've proven myself over the years. I've got a great reputation with always remaining professional. I've been in many difficult situations. I've had clients that have threatened to kill me, where we've had surveillance outside of my house for weeks. And I have still had to stay on those cases and represent these individuals, but move forward pursuant to the law and make sure that, their rights are protected. And if somebody wants a trial, even though they're guilty and the evidence is against them, it's my job to make sure that they get a fair trial, which, a lot of people don't understand, but that's what our Constitution is for. And it's a great thing, because if any of us were placed in that situation, we would want an attorney that's good to stand by there. And, I don't have a magic wand where I can create any sort of magical defense to get people off, but I can make sure that, we follow the law all around. Yeah.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tomorrow. And hopefully you win.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I know we are a sports show, folks, and we do things a little bit differently here. So most obviously from my doing, Nick is absolved of all this political talk. We give him a free pass. So, but we appreciate Jennifer coming on, all the candidates. But go out and vote tomorrow, whatever your opinion, folks. Go out and vote. Make your voice heard at the ballot box. That's what's important. All right. Anything we missed, partner, that we wanted to get to today? Anything you want to get to? I'm
trying to think. We covered so much today.
Really
packed show, packed weekend. Oh, but I guess we had the big golf yesterday too that you had mentioned.
Oh yeah. Matsuyama choking on the back nine, but came back to get the win.
I know, it's so unfortunate. Like this whole it took me a while to even realize golf was on this weekend. It's like it's taken such a back seat. And then I watched a
little bit of the carnival that is Live Golf. They were up at Greenbrier, the course that I played. Beautiful.
I heard was it Rom versus Koepka yesterday?
Yeah.
Going after it. And I feel like I saw a tweet about it, but there was nothing that told me that I needed to pick up my Roku remote and get over to the CW.
Yeah, Rom versus Koepka.
Rom versus Koepka. Now I just had no interest. I just had no interest.
And there was an article came out this week, basically somebody saying that Maram privately is saying he made the huge mistake and he hates the fact that he's only playing 4 tournaments a year that are remotely relevant, the majors. And, who didn't see this coming? He took the money and he's very sorry that he did. And I turned it on. I'm like, I can't. It's a carnival. The music's playing in the background, which is great, for the Tahoe Celebrity Classic. It's fantastic. But not for the PGA Tour, not for my tour. No. And you have all these great names out there that aren't playing on the tour in the playoffs at the St. Jude Classic. Ugh, hate it, absolutely hate it. But congrats to Matsuyama, who went to London like I'm going to, and got robbed. Got their passports taken away. Him and his caddy. Somehow through all that, he got to Memphis and won the damn thing. So with a new putter.
Yeah,
Scotty Cameron putter.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. After we get off this show, I'm going to go read this article that I have yet to read, but I saw the headline, and that was that old Goster Cherilus. Remember him?
Oh, yes.
Was arrested early Sunday morning after allegedly urinating on a fellow passenger on a flight to Ireland.
There
has been forced to return to Boston. So I can't wait to actually dive into that story when we get off the air. But
I'm going overseas. I'm either going to get pissed on the plane or robbed when I get there.
Exactly. Those are your options. So we'll see if you get to see any football on Saturday. We'll see.
I got a log many travels. I could be arrested in the UK for a mean tweet. That's also something I'm very scared. They're going through my. I'm on a passenger list. Are they going through my tweets right now? Because I may not make it home.
Oh, they already got you. They already have Peterson, JP on the list already.
Good thing I'm bringing Scott Jeeves, my attorney, with me. So hopefully that will help. Oh my Lord. Oh, the world we live in. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Really appreciate you guys watching each and every day. Please like and subscribe on our YouTube page, the JP Peterson Show, and my new Twitter at the JP Peterson Show. Please jump over there if you want on the old one. We appreciate that. And Nick will be back on Thursday, and I will be joining him from Dublin. That could be quite the show, my friend. So that'll be fun. And we'll do that Thursday and Friday. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.